Thursday morning, heading into work slightly earlier because my neighbour owns a tilt tray tow truck business, and I spoke to him about getting a container moved at school, and he said he could do it. And so yesterday, before leaving work, I blocked off parts of the car park so that nobody's cars would get damaged. We are going to be moving that container from one part of the car park up towards the construction end of the car park, just outside the construction space. So that will become the storage for construction materials. At the moment, it's got some metal in it, some old bikes from when we were doing bike things with the metal classes. The good thing about this container is it's got built-in racking in the sides that sort of swings out. So it's against the edge if you don't need it, you can swing it out, and because it's a 20-foot container, it's going to be perfect for those long lengths of construction pine that you order and they'll only send it to you in 6 metre lengths. I've asked for shorter lengths, but they go, no, we settle it in 6 metres. So at the moment, it's just lying on the floor in the other storeroom, so you're walking all over it, hopefully not tripping on it. The spot where he needs to get it in, he said, because I showed him some photos, he said that area looks a little tight. I might be able to get it in back it in 45, then drop it and drive out really tight lock, and it'll make the container slide and push a little bit as it's going in, whereas he's driving out. And he said then you just need a tractor or forklift to sort of push it into place. Our school has a tractor. I spoke to the ag teacher and he said, yeah, that'll push a container easy just to slide it around. That's going to be the plan. Not sure if I'll get the slid bit done today. I might, it depends on the ag teacher, but I'll at least get the container moved. I said to him, let's aim for between 8 and 8:30, and he said, cool. And I heard him getting the truck ready this morning, and I thought I'd better get out of here before he does. And I did. He basically got the truck out of his yard and it was up on the street, and he was just doing his finish of his morning routine before leaving, and I finished off mine and left, because I just want to make sure that I'm there for when he arrives. I managed to get a couple of my boys in construction to ring through to a new work placement for next week. Hopefully they get the paperwork signed tonight, like last night, and bring it back in today. Had a surprise visit by one of my staff members who's been on leave, who moved to Western Australia, bought a house over there, is working over there, but came back here for a wedding. Good to see them, but I don't expect to see them at the start of next year. They said just as much to me, maybe mid-year. They also said when I was planning, yeah, don't bet on me being back, because I'd hate to say, yes, I'll be back mid-year and then something else happens. They seem to be enjoying themselves over there. Said that the school is much like ours, it's just on the west coast. Everybody makes a move now and then. Who knows if they'll ever be back? You never know. In the past, my metals teacher bought a house on the Central Coast, moving from Penrith to the Central Coast, to have a different growing up lifestyle for his new young family. For a while, he was driving from the Central Coast to school every day. It's about an hour and a bit, so much like what I do. Distance is a little bit further, but a lot more freeway work, so that's why it's still an hour. And he eventually got a transfer to a school that was like 15-20 minutes from his house there. And when he left, so did one of my other teachers, and he decided he wanted to have just a lifestyle change, and he moved up the Central Coast a bit further than the other one. He just went up there and started doing some casual teaching. His wife got a job up there. One of my other teachers, she actually got a transfer out of the school to a different job. But recently, or recently, last year, early this year, bought a house in the Central Coast, which is where she was aiming to want to be. And that was because she got a job up there. And the other morning, one of my other staff was sitting there working, and then they just turned to me and said, I want a house. And I said, where? And they said, Central Coast, which is what they were wanting. They'll be moving over the Christmas break. However, one of their kids doesn't want to pull them out of school because they're going into year 11 and 12. So needs to still bring them down to school. So they'll still be coming to our school for at least 2 years. But who knows after that? Theirs is an hour 5, hour 10 drive, much like what I do, but the kilometres are longer. And they'd have to do tolls, so that's the one who came in yesterday said, seems to be a bit of a pattern. I'm losing staff to the Central Coast or the West Coast. Anyway, I'd love a house on the Central Coast. I think it'd be great to live by the beach. It wouldn't be any less dangerous in terms of bushfire risk because quite often there's bushfires around the coast. I think the only way you're going to escape bushfires here is by living dead in the city. Because even some of the northern suburbs are in very leafy areas, very old established areas. We had the bushfires back in 2001. They were pretty devastating through the mountains. I know that it actually went from the Blue Mountains to the coast in a matter of hours. It devastated the town I grew up in, ripped through my friend's farm and burnt down their dairy, a couple of stables, big barn, things like that. Their house was miraculously saved, and that was just because the plants around the house were very lush green evergreens that don't burn. But yes, those fires, they also ripped through those leafy northern Sydney suburbs, right down in the city, by the city, and it just went right through those areas. So anywhere that's leafy in Australia, especially if it's leafy with native gum trees, fire risk. Anyway, a place by the beach would be nice. I don't know if I could ever afford it. The price that they said, like my staff member the other day, the price that they said they paid is about what our house might be worth, and other houses in our area are around that and up. So, but then you got to try and finance it, sell it and buy it. Waiting and watching.
it looks like he gets some trucks of wood stuck under the back so it doesn't sink into the ground. I guess when he does the last push. See, that's what he's doing. I didn't realise the truck was this long. I figured it was long enough to take it, but yeah. Now I'm assuming the winch will do the rest of the work. I can feel the sweat dripping down my back just from the humidity this morning. This is unbelievable. Just got to make space at this other end. He's aiming for here. It is a very tight spot to try and get this off. I'll tell you what, you aimed up pretty well. Yeah. Once he disconnects it, he's going to try and drive out with a hard lock to see if it slides off and straightens up. It'll be interesting to see if it works. So he's just slid that down further under it. This is interesting. Yeah, it's not pivoting, is it? Said we could take the hinges off here so he could drive in here and winch it back. And he's basically just shoved it with the truck, which has been good. That's perfect. Well, that was an excellent job. He's got it. He was straight, and then the last little kick to try and get it off the timber we had on the ground just sort of slid it sideways, but I am not that fussy. I can still open the gate right up and then open this one so you can get in and out with stuff. And we still have a full car parking space. So that's excellent. And stuff inside didn't get that messed around with all the jiggling and jolting. So job well done, job well done. Really impressed with the way he managed his truck. And even just the reversing around in our car park, because we have had delivery drivers who have come so close to hitting things. I did have one guy who ripped the fence, like the gate off the fence once. That didn't happen. So everything's sweet. I just got to pack up my cones. Saturday morning, so this is a rare one. It's meant to get pretty hot today apparently, and my wife sent my phone a text in the middle of the night. Said maybe try and take the boys out for a walk before 9 o'clock because it's going to get warm. It's only just before 9 now, but we've been out for a little bit. Stopped to talk to a neighbour, so we'll keep going, try and get a bit of exercise in. I haven't started my exercise counter, so that's a little bit out of whack. Oh, yeah, I'm not picking that one up. I usually always pick up the dog's poop, but when Sam just finished that one, you know that little kicking and scratching that dogs do to, oh, I've just marked my territory. He just kicked it all over the joint. Some of it out onto the road, so, and now Batman's doing it. So I can't pick up that one. That plane just made me think Sydney's new international airport is being built down at Badgerys Creek, and apparently the first plane landing there just happened in the last week or so. It was only a light plane, but it was still the first plane to actually land there. I've been out there with the construction kids. 3.5 kilometre long runway, cater for international aircraft, but people have been against it for so long. I remember my 3rd grade teacher complaining about the plans for an airport at Badgerys Creek, because that's where she lived. And it's finally been built. The flight paths go across the mountains, and because it's not situated in the city, there's apparently no curfew on their takeoff and landing times, like 24 hours of aircraft noise across the mountains. They've provided like a heat map of where the aircraft will fly and where the possible noise spillover will be, and where we are is meant to catch some of it. I think the fact is we're already under a flight path, because anything that heads west goes straight over the top of us as per that light aircraft. That's something heading back and forth between like Bathurst and Sydney, or Bathurst and Bankstown. And there is like a very small airstrip at Katoomba. I don't know if it's used much, but light aircraft and helicopters going over, they're always down low, so you always hear them. International aircraft that fly from Sydney and head west head straight over us, but they're usually a lot higher by the time they get to here. But you hear them. Something taking off at Badgerys Creek, which is not far from the base of the mountains. You're going to get a lot more noise. A lot of the protest doth fall on deaf ears. So the airport got built. It's almost completely finished, and it'll be operational, I think, early or mid 2025, I believe. I could be wrong on that, so don't check on that, but if they've already got a light aircraft landing, it might just be the logistical centres and everything needing to be finished for international aircraft. Actually, they may be needing to wait on the other infrastructure to be finished, because there's meant to be a train from the airport to St Mary's station, where you'll then interchange to catch a train into the city. And I'm not entirely sure that train line and interchange is finished, because it's all underground. Or the majority of it is anyway. And they still seem to be working on it. So I've been trying to get on top of this grass cutting and see what's happened up in there. I can't get the mower up in there. I'm still dealing with the holes left by Bandicoot, so that's a bit of a pain. And these ones too. 2 weeks ago I got basically this far and this part just exploded and I've had to remow all of that. So I'm going to try and finish this. It's just after 6:30. I've just fed the boys. I'll try and at least finish this bit that I can do with the mower, and then I'll get the whippersnipper out tomorrow. Yeah, so I've pretty much done as much as I can with the mower. I can't go through here because I've got some steel pipes in here. I've got up into there and there, along the edge, kind of around those, all the way along. I can't get right to the fence because of the bamboo stumps that are still along it. And I can't really get up around the peach trees and that sort of, and the lit citrus because it's just all too rough. And I can't get anywhere through this. This is all rock and stuff. So that's all done with the whippersnipper, which I'll do tomorrow. I've done the front yard, except for the whippersnipping. And I think just before I go in, I might get the hedge trimmer out and just trim along the hedge that's getting a bit too close to the air conditioning units on the side of the house. Because it's not really a hedge, it's potato vine and jasmine vine, and it just reaches out. See what I mean by this? This vine just sort of grows out, twists around itself so it can reach out, and it's done. That one was not there yesterday. These ones all reaching out to the house. Another morning walk, Sunday, and about to turn 9 o'clock, but it's already pretty warm. It's 21, 22 degrees. So I probably should have done this a little sooner. Weekends feel like days you should be able to just be lazy in the mornings at least, if not the weekend. I guess it's a little weird that I don't feel like doing things early in the morning when you consider that by this time every day of the week I'm at work and about to enter class, which means I've been up, breakfast, coffee, dressed, and at work all by now. So what's stopping me from being more productive in those 2 hours between when I'm getting dressed for work and starting class, like those sort of times? What is it that's stopping me from getting up and doing that sort of stuff, or doing something in the mornings? One of them, I would say, is pure laziness. I don't feel like getting up. Part of that could be I feel like I need that rest. Because every morning I'm still tired. Another one is noise. I don't want to start doing stuff outside, usually before 9 at least, because it's also my neighbour's weekend. So you don't want to be starting up machines and power tools and lawn mowers, because most of my neighbours don't do that either. I can sometimes get some stuff done inside, like maybe in my study. Although this morning, the back of our house and the study was quite warm because of the morning sun just beating on it. It's probably a habit I need to get back into, because it's a habit I've slipped out of, because my wife would say, like, you would never stop me before. I'd be just moving constantly. Now, probably a symptom of age and injury and pain, that I'm slowing down too early. Come on, Pepper.